Despite the popular misconception has given the wife rights even within the bedroom. For example, in Hanafi fiqh and legal jurisprudence, it is the wife's right that the husband should sleep with her at least every 3 days. That's her right. That's her right. The Prophet Muhammad said, not one of you should fall upon his wife like an animal, but let there first be between you a messenger to you. And what is the messenger they ask you by kisses and words? Foreplay. Foreplay. You're not supposed to treat your animal like your wife like she's a breeding machine. You jump on and that's it, you're done, you pop out like my plate. Women are thinking emotional beings. Imam al-Ghazali said, sex should begin with gentle words and kissing. Imam al-Zayd said even further, he said, this should include not only the cheeks and lips, that you should caress the breasts and nipples and every part of her body. This is how far the Islamic legal system went in the rights of women. And as I say, how many Muslim women here today knew their rights? Put your hand up. None of them. That's the fault of your local imams and your ulama who are not teaching. Far from oppressive women, Islamic law covered equal issues that only recently that male-dominated Western society have begun to grant and accept. Economic independence for a woman has always been enshrined in Islamic law. From the simple dowry given to the right to business ownership, Muslim women have been at the forefront. Khadija radiallahu anha was the first wife of the Prophet Muhammad, was a businesswoman that used her wealth in helping to spread Islam. And not only that, the wealth of a woman is her independent right. It is not permissible for the Muslim husband or the father or the brother to take from her own independently gained wealth. It's a form of theft to take from her if you do. Islam, law and money could be coming to a conclusion. To any Muslim making money was seen as a virtuous and allowing them to spend on their families and the poor and unfortunate. But one of those things has always remained in the mind of any Muslim business person. Interest. Something that we share in common with Christianity, the banning of usury. Islam, like Christianity, carries God's ban on interest in the strongest words possible. Those who conceive interest cannot stand except as one stands who is being bitten by Satan. The Prophet Muhammad went on even further. He said, Riba has 70 segments. The least serious is equivalent to a man committing incest with his mom. To indulge in the propagation, the practice of interest. The Prophet, peace be upon him, gave us rights over what is interest and what it he explained. The developing world now spends 1.3 on debt payments for every $1 it received in grants. Nigeria borrowed around $5 billion and has paid back about $16 billion, but still owes $28 billion. That $28 billion came about because of the injustices and the foreign creditors' interest rates. So they have to take further loans to pay back the interest, let alone the loan. Islam law, even animal rights. The greatest of a nation and its moral progress is to be judged by the way its animals are treated. And I agree with him. When I travelled through Morocco, I was shocked by the treatment of animals in Muslim countries. But I was even more surprised when I found out that the Prophet Muhammad had legislated it. Or I should say more accurately, God had revealed the system that legislated for the rights of animals. And one of the reasons why Islam is called upon the right treatment of animals, because animals are not seen as the property of us. Rather, as Abdul says, people don't in fact own things, for the real owner is the Creator. They only enjoy use for it, subject to the divine law. So in other words, that animal, that cat you have, does not belong to you, it belongs to God. And if it belongs to God, then that cat should be maintained in the position it came upon the earth in a good manner. It should not be ill-treated, it should not be badly persecuted, nor should it be tortured to death. Surah An-Nahl, the verse of the Quran says, until when they came upon the valley that as is talking about the Prophet Solomon, peace be upon him. And Ant said, "Oh, Ant, enter your dwellings that you may not be crushed by Solomon and his soldiers," while they perceived not. And what was it that Islamic scholars were able to perceive from this particular verse of the Quran? According to Imam Qutbi, he said there is no disagreement amongst the renowned Muslim scholars that all animals possess the ability to comprehend and understand and have minds. This is because of the ruling derived from the Quran. So if an animal can experience happiness and sadness, it can feel pain and animosity. Early Muslim thinkers like Al-Jahis of the 8th century and Izz-ad-Din Abdul Salam of the 13th century left their treatise on the treatment of animals. Ibn Abdul Salam in his works formulated a code for the good treatment of animals not before the West, full of animal rights. He wrote, and he said, "Know that God created his creatures and made them depend on each other, so that each group would support the welfare of each other." So in other words, from an Islamic perspective, we as human beings are seen as sharing this world in a symbiotic relationship with the animals, with the environment. We are both in need of each other, which means we should not abuse each other. Of course, it's impossible for animals to abuse me, or the trees to abuse me. But I can abuse it by pumping pollutants into the environment, by tearing up whole swathes of forest land, through no reason at all, except that I want to have an extra cow harvest, so we can all go down to McDonald's and have an extra Big Mac. There is no need for it. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said there is a good in rewarding doing stuff for every living being. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Fear God in your treatment of these animals, they cannot talk, why them being sound." He prohibited the use of animals that were incapacitated or unsuitable. The Prophet's companions and their descendants were also active during ensuring the rights of animals. Umar bin Khattab once struck a camel driver, admonishing, "Are you loading on your camel more than it is able to carry?" And Umar bin Abdul wrote to his government in Egypt and said, "I have heard that there are camels in Egypt which are being loaded with 1,000 pounds. Upon receipt of my letter, made certain that the camels are not carrying more than 600 pounds. Imam Nawawi rahimahullah also said it's an act of kindness that when you do kill an animal, the sustenance of need to make sure the blade is sharpened so it doesn't hurt. Also, some of the requirements before we come to it, I apologize for taking up the business coming after. Animals, at the same time, should not be subject to seeing each other being killed. We know already that animals are affected by the conditions they are kept in. So if they are forced to see another animal being killed in a manner, then of course it will affect them. You are not allowed to see the animal to see the blade. If it wants to drink, it's allowed to drink. Even to the degree, as Imam Nawawi says, that even when you milk a goat or a cow, you should clip your nails so it doesn't harm the teeth of the animal. Once God's messenger passed by a man who was placing his foot on the side of a sheep's neck, and he said to the man, while the man was sharpening the blade, the sheep was staring. He said, "Should you not have done that earlier? You want to kill it twice." Even in Islam, the right treatment of animals leads to the forgiveness of God. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, our prostitute was forgiven her sins because she passed by a dog that was standing and panted at the mouth of a well. The first it almost killed it, so she took her shoe, tied it to her head cloth, and scooped up water for it. And because of that, she was forgiven her sins and granted paradise. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that under the Islamic law, sports hunting is banned. It's prohibited. He said, Ibn Umar said, "I invoke God's curse upon whoever has done this," meaning using an animal for target practice. Verily, God's messenger cursed all those who use a living creature as a target. And God's curse is also upon those who have mutilated an animal. A woman was punished because of a cat that she imprisoned until it died of hunger. As a result, her deed entered her into the hellfire. Al-Fajr said the following: people don't in fact honor things, for the real honor is the Creator. They only enjoy it useless subject to the divine law. In other words, everything that is in the not belong to you, all right, but it's put at our disposal by God Almighty. And it's set because God is the owner, must be given back to him on the day of judgment in the manner.